Nehemiah Chapter 1. The words of Nehemiah, son of Hakaliah, and it came to be in the month of Kislev, in the 20th year, as I was in the citadel of Shushan, that Hanani, one of my brothers, came with men from Yehudah, and I asked them concerning the Yahudim who had escaped, who had survived the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem. And they said to me, the remnant who are left of the captivity in the province are there in great evil and reproach, and the wall of Jerusalem is broken down, and its gates are burned with fire. And it came to be, when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept, and mourned for many days. And I was fasting and praying before the Elohim of the heavens. And I said, I pray Yahuwah Elohim of the heavens, O great and awesome El, guarding the covenant and kindness with those who love you, and with those guarding your commands. Please let your ear be attentive and your eyes open to hear the prayer of your servant, which I am praying before you now, day and night, for the children of Israel, your servants, and confess the sins of the children of Israel, which we have sinned against you. Both my father's house and I have sinned. We have acted very corruptly against you, and have not guarded the commands, nor the laws, nor the right rulings which you commanded your servant Moshe. Please remember the word that you commanded your servant Moshe, saying, if you trespass, I shall scatter you among the peoples. But if you shall turn back to me and guard my commands and do them, though you were cast out to the end of the heavens, I shall gather them from there and bring them to the place which I have chosen to make my name dwell there. And they are your servants and your people, whom you have redeemed by your great power and by your strong hand. O Yahuwah, I pray, please let your ear be attentive to the prayer of your servant, and to the prayer of your servants who delight to fear your name. And let your servant prosper this day, I pray, and grant him compassion in the presence of this man. For I was cupbearer to the sovereign. Nehemiah Chapter 2. And it came to be in the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes, the sovereign, when wine was before him, that I took the wine and gave it to the sovereign, and I had never been sad in his presence. And the sovereign said to me, why is your face sad, since you are not sick? This is none else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very much afraid, and said to the sovereign, let the sovereign live forever. Why should my face not be sad, when the city, the place of my father's tombs, lies waste, and its gates are burned with fire? And the sovereign said to me, what are you asking for? Then I prayed to the Elohim of the heavens, and said to the sovereign, if it seems good to the sovereign, and if your servant is pleasing before you, I ask that you send me to Yehudah, to the city of my father's tombs, so that I build it. And the sovereign, with the sovereigness sitting beside him, said to me, how long would your journey take? And when do you return? So it seemed good before the sovereign to send me, and I set him a time. And I said to the sovereign, if it seems good to the sovereign, let letters be given to me for the governors beyond the river, that they should let me to pass through till I come to Yehudah. And a letter to Asaph, the keeper of the sovereign's forest, that he should give me timber to make beams for the gates of the palace that belongs to the house, and for the city wall, and for the house I would enter. And the sovereign gave them to me according to the good hand of my Elohim upon me. Then I came to the governors beyond the river, and gave to them the letters of the sovereign. Now the sovereign had sent commanders of the army and horsemen with me, and Sanballat the Horonite, and Tobiah the Ammonite, official heard of it. And to them it was evil, a great evil, that a man had come to seek good for the children of Israel. Then I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days. And I rose up in the night, I and a few men with me, but informed no one what my Elohim had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem, nor was there any beast with me except the beast on which I rode. And I went out by night through the valley gate to the jackal's fountain and the dung gate, and examined the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and its gates which were burned with fire. And I went on to the fountain gate and to the sovereign's pool, but there was no room for the beast that was under me to pass. And I went up in the night by the water, and examined the wall, and turned back, and entered by the valley gate, and returned. And the deputy rulers did not know where I had gone, nor what I had done. Nor had I yet informed the Yahudim, or the priests, or the nobles, or the deputy rulers, or the others who did the work. Then I said to them, You see the evil which we are in, how Jerusalem lies waste, and its gates are burned with fire. Come and let us build the wall of Jerusalem, and let us no longer be a reproach. And I informed them of the hand of my Elohim, which had been good upon me, and also of the sovereign's words he had spoken to me. And they said, Let us rise up, and we shall build. So they made their hand strong for good. But when Sanballat the Horonite heard, and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem the Arab, they mocked us and despised us, and said, What is this you are doing? Are you rebelling against the sovereign? And I answered them and said to them, The Elohim of the heavens, he shall bless us, and let us, his servants, rise and build. But you have no portion or right or remembrance in Jerusalem. Nehemiah Chapter 3. And Eliashib the high priest rose up with his brothers the priests, and built the sheep gate. They set it apart and set up its doors, even as far as the tower of Haniel. They set it apart as far as the tower of Haniel. And next to him the men of Jericho built, and next to them Zachar son of Emra built. And the sons of Hashanah built the fish gate, who laid its beams and set up its doors, its bolts and bars. And next to them Meremoth son of Uriah, son of Quats, made repairs. And next to them Meshullam, son of Berechiah, son of Mishael, made repairs. And next to them Zadok, son of Banana, made repairs. And next to them the Tigorites made repairs, but their nobles did not put their shoulders to the work of their master. And Jehoiada, son of Paseah, and Meshullam, son of Besodiah, repaired the old gate. They laid its beams and set up its doors and its bolts and its bars. And next to them Melatiah the Gibeonite, and Yadon the Mereathite, the men of Gibeon and Mizpah, repaired the official seat of the governor beyond the river. Next to him Uzziel, son of Harhiah, one of the goldsmiths, made repairs. And next to him Hananiah, one of the perfumers, made repairs. And they restored Jerusalem as far as the broad wall. And next to them Rephaiah, son of Hur, ruler of half the district of Jerusalem, made repairs. And next to them Yadaiah, son of Harumaph, made repairs, even opposite his house. And next to him Hattush, son of Hashabniah, made repairs. Malchiah, son of Harim, and Hashub, son of Paleth Moab, repaired another section and the tower of the ovens. And next to him Shalom, son of Halahesh, ruler of half the district of Jerusalem made repairs, he and his daughters. Hanun and the people of Zanoah repaired the valley gate. They built it and set up its doors, its bolts and bars, and 1,000 cubits of the wall as far as the dung gate. And the dung gate was repaired by Malchiah son of Rechab, ruler of the district of Beth Hakerem. He built it and set up its doors, its bolts and bars. And the fountain gate was repaired by Shalom son of Kol-Hosea, ruler of the district of Mizpah. He built it and covered it and set up its doors, its bolts and bars. Also the wall of the pool of Shiloh by the sovereign's garden as far as the stairs going down from the city of David. After him Nehemiah son of Asbah, ruler of half the district of Beth Tizar, made repairs as far as opposite the tombs of David and to the man-made pool, and as far as the house of the mighty men. After him the Levites, Rehum son of Bani, made repairs. Next to him repaired Hashabah, ruler of half the district of Keilah, for his district. After him their brothers, Bawiah son of Henadad, ruler of the other half of the district of Keilah, made repairs. And next to him Ezra son of Yeshua, the ruler of Mizpah, repaired another section before the going up to the armory at the corner. After him Baruch son of Zabiah eagerly repaired the other section from the buttress to the door of the house of Eliashib the high priest. After him Meremoth son of Uriah son of Quoch repaired another section from the door of the house of Eliashib to the end of the house of Eliashib. And after him the priests, the men of the neighborhood, made repairs. After him Benjamin and Hashab made repairs opposite their house. After them Uzziah son of Maaziah, son of Ananiah, made repairs near his house. After him Binnui son of Henadad repaired another section from the house of Uzziah to the angle, even as far as the corner. Pelah son of Uzziah made repairs opposite the corner, and on the tower which projects from the sovereign's upper house that was by the courtyard of the prison. After him Pedaiah son of Parosh. Now the Nethinim dwelt in Opal as far as opposite the water gate toward the east and on the projecting tower. After him the Teoites repaired another section opposite the great projecting tower and as far as the wall of Ophel. Beyond the horse gate the priests made repairs, each opposite his own house. After them Zadok son of Immer made repairs opposite his own house. After him Shemaiah son of Shechaniah, keeper of the east gate, made repairs. After him Ananiah son of Shelemiah and Hanam, the sixth son of Tisalaph, repaired another section after him. Meshullam son of Berechiah made repairs opposite his room. After him Malchiah, one of the goldsmiths, made repairs as far as the house of the Nethinim and of the merchants opposite the Mivkad gate, and as far as the going up of the corner. And between the going up of the corner to the sheep gate, the goldsmiths and the merchants made repairs. Nehemiah Chapter 4. And it came to be, when Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, that he was wroth and highly offended and mocked the Yehudim. And he spoke before his brothers and the army of Shemaron and said, What are these feeble Yahudim doing? Are they going to restore, slaughter, complete it in a day? Are they going to bring to life the stones from the heaps of rubbish which are burned? And Tobiah the Ammonite was beside him, and he said, Whatever they build, if a fox shall climb on it, he shall break down their stone wall. Hear, O our Elohim, for we have become despised, and turn back their reproach on their own heads, and give them as a prey in a land of captivity. And do not cover over their crookedness, and do not let their sin be blotted out from before you, for they have provoked you before the builders. So we built the wall, and the entire wall was joined together up to the half of it, for the people had a heart to work. And it came to be when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabs and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were being repaired and the broken places began to be filled, that they became very wroth. And all of them conspired together to come to fight against Jerusalem and to do harm to it. But we prayed to our Elohim and set a watch against them day and night because of them. And Yehuda said, The strength of the burden bearers is weakening, and there is so much rubbish that we are unable to build the wall. And our adversaries said, Let them not know or see it until we come into their midst, and shall slay them and cause the work to cease. And it came to be, when the Yahudim who dwelt near them came, that they said to us 10 times, From whatever place you turn, they are against us. So I set men behind the lower parts of the wall at the openings. I set the people according to their clans, with their swords, their spears, and their bows. And I looked and rose up and said to the nobles and to the deputy rulers and to the rest of the people, Do not be afraid of them. Remember the great and awesome Yahuwah, and fight for your brothers, your sons, and your daughters, your wives, and your houses. And it came to be, when our enemies heard that it was known to us, and that Elohim had brought that counsel to naught, that all of us returned to the wall, everyone to his work. And it came to be, from that time on, that half of my servants were working in the work, while the other half were holding the spears, the shields, and the bows, and the breastplates. And the rulers were behind all the house of Yehuda, who were building on the wall, and those bearing burdens, those loading, working with one hand in the work, and with the other holding a weapon. As for the builders, each one had his sword girded at his side as he built, and the one who sounded the ram's horn was beside me. And I said to the nobles and to the deputy rulers and to the rest of the people, The work is great and large, and we are separated far from one another on the wall. In whatever place you hear the sound of the ram's horn, join us there. Our Elohim fights for us. So we labored in the work, and half of them held the spears from the break of day until the stars appeared. At that time I also said to the people, Let each man and his servant spend the night in Jerusalem, and they shall be our guard by night, and for the work by day. So neither I nor my brothers, nor my servants, nor the men of the guard who followed me, none of us took off our garments, each one his weapon, even at the water. Nehemiah Chapter 5. And there was a great outcry of the people and their wives against their brothers the Yahudim. And there were some who were saying, We, our sons and our daughters, are many. Let us get grain for them and eat and live. And there were some who were saying, We have mortgaged our lands and vineyards and houses. Let us buy grain because of the scarcity of food. And there were those who were saying, We have borrowed silver for the sovereign's tax on our lands and vineyards. And now our flesh is like the flesh of our brothers, our children like their children. And see, we are subjecting our sons and our daughters to be slaves, and some of our daughters have already been subjected, and there is no power in our hands, for other men have our lands and vineyards. And it was very displeasing to me when I heard their outcry and these words. And my heart ruled over me, and I strove with the nobles and with the deputy rulers, and said to them, You are exacting interest, each one from his brother. And I called a great assembly against them, and said to them, According to our ability we have redeemed our brothers the Yahudim, who were sold to the Gentiles. And you even sell your brothers, or should they be sold to us? And they were silent, and found not a word to say. I also said, What you are doing is not good. Should you not walk in the fear of our Elohim because of the reproach of the Gentiles, our enemies? And also I, my brothers, and my servants am lending them silver and grain. Please let us leave off this interest. Please give back to them even today their lands, their vineyards, their olive trees, and their houses. Also the 100th part of the silver and of the grain and of the new wine and of the oil that you have taken from them. And they said, Let us give it back and ask no more from them. We do as you say. Then I called the priests and made them swear to do according to this word. I also shook out the fold of my garment and said, Let Elohim in this way shake out each man from his house and from his property who does not do this word, even to be thus shaken out and emptied. And all the assembly said, Amen, and praised Yahuwah, and the people did according to this word. Also from the day I was appointed to be their governor in the land of Yehudah, from the 20th year until the 32nd year of sovereign Artashasta, 12 years, neither I nor my brothers ate the governor's food. But the former governors who were before me laid burdens on the people, and took from them bread and wine, besides 40 shekels of silver. Their servants also oppressed the people, but I did not do so because of the fear of Elohim. And I also applied myself to the work on this wall. We did not buy any land, and all my servants were gathered there for the work. And at my table were 150 of the Yahudim and deputy rulers, besides those who came to us from the nations around us. And that which was prepared for me daily was 1 ox and 6 choice sheep, and birds were prepared for me, and once every 10 days plenty of all kinds of wine. And in spite of this I did not seek the governor's food, because the bondage was heavy on this people. O my Elohim, remember me for the good, all that I have done for this people. Nehemiah Chapter 6. And it came to be, when Sanballat and Tobiah and Geshem the Arab and the rest of our enemies heard that I had rebuilt the wall, and that there were no breaks left in it, though at that time I had not set up the doors in the gates, that Sanballat and Geshem sent to me, saying, Come, let us meet together in the villages in the plain of Ono. But they were planning to do evil to me. So I sent messengers to them, saying, I am doing a great work, and I am unable to come down. Why should the work cease while I leave it and come down to you? However, they sent me the same word 4 times, and I answered them the same word. Then Sanballat sent his servant to me with an open letter in his hand, the same word the 5th time. And it was written, Among the nations it has been heard, and Geshma is saying that you and the Yahudim are planning to rebel. Therefore you are rebuilding the wall, and you are to be their sovereign according to these words. And you have also appointed prophets to proclaim concerning you at Jerusalem, saying, A sovereign is in Yehudah. And now these words are heard by the sovereign. Therefore come now, and let us take counsel together. Then I sent to him, saying, There are no such matters done as you are saying, but you are inventing them in your own heart. For all of them were making us afraid, saying, Let their hands slacken for the work, and it not be done. But now make my hands strong. And when I came to the house of Shemaiah, son of Delaiah, son of Mehetabeel, who was restrained, he said, Let us meet together in the house of Elohim inside the Hekel, and let us close the doors of the Hekel, for they are coming to slay you. By night they are coming to slay you. And I said, Should a man like me flee? And who is there like me who would go into the Hekel to save his life? I do not go in. And see, I perceive that Elohim had not sent him, but that he spoke this prophecy against me, because Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him, because he was a erling, that I should be afraid and do so, and shall sin, and so they could give me an evil name to reproach me. My Elohim remembered Tobiah and Sanballat, according to these works of theirs, and the prophetess Noadiah, and the rest of the prophets who would have made me afraid. And the wall was completed on the 25th of the month of Elul, in 52 days. And it came to be, when all our enemies heard, and all the nations around us saw, that they fell greatly in their own eyes, and knew that this work was done by our Elohim. In those days the noble of Yehudah also sent many letters to Tobiah, while those of Tobiah came to them. For many in Yehudah were sworn to him, because he was the son-in-law of Shechaniah, son of Arab, and his son Yehohanan had married the daughter of Meshullam, son of Berechiah. They were also speaking about his good deeds before me, and reported my words to him. Tobiah sent letters to frighten me. Nehemiah Chapter 7. And it came to be, when the wall was rebuilt, that I set up the doors, and the gatekeepers, and the singers, and the Levites were appointed. And I put my brother Hananiah in charge of Jerusalem, and Hananiah the head of the palace, for he was a trustworthy man, and feared Elohim more than many. And I said to them, Let not the gates of Jerusalem be open until the sun is hot. And while they were standing by, let them shut the doors and bolt them, and appoint guards from among the inhabitants of Jerusalem, each at his post, and each in front of his own house. And the city was wide on both sides and great, but the people in it were few, and the houses were not rebuilt. And my Elohim put it into my heart to gather the nobles and the deputy rulers and the people, in order to be registered by genealogy. And I found a register of the genealogy of those who had come up at the beginning, and I found written in it, These are the sons of the province who came back from the captivity of the exiles, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the sovereign of Babel, had exiled, and who returned to Jerusalem and Yehudah, each to his city, who came with Zerubbabel, Yeshua, Nehemiah, Azariah, Rahamiah, Nehemiah, Mordecai, Bilshan, Mispereth, Bigwai, Nahum, Baanah, the number of the men of the people of Israel, sons of Parash, 2,172, sons of Shephatiah, 372, sons of Arab, 652, sons of Pahath Moab, of the sons of Yeshua and Joab, 2,818, sons of Elam, 1,254, sons of Zatu, 845, sons of Sagiah, 760, sons of Benua, 648, sons of Bebiah, 628, sons of Asgad, 2 1,322. Sons of Ananiam, 667. Sons of Bewiah, 2,067. Sons of Adin, 655. Sons of Etar of Hezekiah, 98. Sons of Hashum, 328. Sons of Batsiah, 324. Sons of Haruph, 112. Sons of Gibeon, 95. Men of Bethlehem and Netophah, 188. Men of Anathoth, 128. Men of Beth Azmaweth, 42. Men of Kiriath Yearim, Kapharah, and Beeroth, 743. Men of Ramah and Gibeah, 621. Men of Michmash, 122. Men of Beth El and Ai, 123. Men of the other Nebo, 52. Sons of the other Elam, 1,254. Sons of Harim, 320. Sons of Jericho, 345. Sons of Lod, Hadid, and Ono, 721. Sons of Sinaiah, 3,930. The priests, sons of Yedoiah, of the house of Yeshua, 973. Sons of Immer, 1,052. Sons of Pashur, 1,247. Sons of Harim, 1,017. The Levites, sons of Yeshua of Quamiel, of the sons of Hadawah, 74. The singers, sons of Asaph, 148. The gatekeepers, sons of Shalom, sons of Attar, sons of Talmon, sons of Aquab, sons of Hatita, sons of Shobiah, 138. The Nethanim, sons of Shabha, sons of Hashupha, sons of Tabiath, sons of Kiyaras, sons of Sia, sons of Padon, sons of Lebanon, sons of Hakabah, sons of Samiah, sons of Hannah, sons of Giddel, sons of Gahar, sons of Reaiah, sons of Ratzin, sons of Nakoda, sons of Gazam, sons of Uzzah, sons of Pesiah, sons of Besiah, sons of Meonim, sons of Nephishishem, sons of Bakbug, sons of Hakwapha, sons of Harba, sons of Batzlith, sons of Mehada, sons of Hasha, sons of Bacchus, sons of Sisera, sons of Tema, sons of Natsayah, and sons of Hatipha, the sons of Shalomon's servants, sons of Zotiah, sons of Sopharet, sons of Parada, sons of Ya'ala, sons of Dikon, sons of Gidel, sons of Shiphat, sons of Hatil, sons of Pacharet, of Tishabayim, sons of Ammon. All of the Nethanim and the sons of Shalomon's servants were 392. And these were the ones who came up from Tel Melab, Tel Hashah, Kirub, Adon, and Emma, but they were unable to show their father's house and their seed whether they were of Israel. Sons of Deliah, sons of Tobiah, sons of Nekoda, 642. And of the priests, sons of Habiah, sons of Kosh, son of Barzillai, who took a wife of the daughters of Barzillai the Gileadite, and was called by their name. These sought their register among those who were counted by genealogy, but it was not found, so they were barred from the priesthood as defiled. And the governor said to them that they should not eat of the most set-apart gifts until a priest stood up with the Urim and Thummim. All the assembly together was 42,360, besides their male and female servants. These were 7,337, and they had 245 men and women singers. Their horses were 736, their mules 245, camels 435, donkeys 6,720, and some of the heads of the fathers' houses contributed to the work. The governor gave to the treasurer 1,000 gold drummers, 50 basins, and 530 priestly garments. Some of the heads of the fathers' houses gave to the treasury of the work 20,000 gold drummers and 2,200 silver minas. And the rest of the people gave 20,000 gold drummers, 2,000 silver minas, and 67 priestly garments. So the priests and the Levites and the gatekeepers and the singers and some of the people and the Nethinim and all Israel dwelt in their cities. Nehemiah Chapter 8. And when the 7th month came, the children of Israel were in their cities, and all the people gathered together as one man in the open space that was in front of the water gate. And they spoke to Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the Torah of Moshe, which Yahuwah had commanded Israel. And Ezra the priest brought the Torah before the assembly of both men and women and all who could hear with understanding on the first day of the 7th month. And he read from it in the open space in front of the water gate from morning until midday, before the men and women and those who could understand. And the ears of all the people listened to the book of the Torah. And Ezra the scribe stood on a platform of wood which they had made for the purpose. And beside him on his right stood Mattaniah and Shema and Ananiah and Uriah and Hilkiah and Mahaseiah. And on his left stood Pedaiah and Meshuel and Malchiah and Hashum and Hashbaddanah, Zechariah, Meshullam. And Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the people, for he was above all the people. And when he opened it, all the people stood up. And Ezra blessed Yahuwah, the great Elohim. Then all the people answered, Amen, Amen, while lifting up their hands. And they bowed their heads and worshipped Yahuwah with faces to the ground. And Yeshua and Benaiah and Sherebiah, Yamin, Aquab, Shabbataiah, Hodiah, Mahashaiah, Kelita, Isaiah, Josabad, Hanam, Peliah, and the Levites caused the people to understand the Torah while the people were in their place. And they read in the book of the Torah of Elohim, translating to give the sense, and caused them to understand the reading. And Nehemiah, who was the governor, and Ezra the priest, the scribe, and the Levites who taught the people, said to all the people, This day is set apart to Yahuwah your Elohim. Do not mourn or weep. For all the people wept when they heard the words of the Torah. Then he said to them, Go, eat the fat, drink the sweet, and send portions to those for whom none is prepared, for this day is set apart to our Yahuwah. Do not be sad, for the joy of Yahuwah is your strength. And the Levites were silencing all the people, saying, Hush, for the day is set apart, do not be sad. And all the people went to eat and to drink and to send portions and make a great rejoicing, because they understood the words that were made known to them. And on the second day the heads of the fathers' houses of all the peoples with the priests and Levites were gathered to Ezra the scribe in order to study the words of the Torah. And they found written in the Torah, which Yahuwah had commanded by Moshe, that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the festival of the 7th month, and that they should announce and proclaim in all their cities and in Jerusalem, saying, Go out to the mountain and bring olive branches, branches of oil trees, and myrtle branches, and palm branches, and branches of leafy trees, to make booths, as it is written. So the people went out and brought them and made themselves booths. each one on the roof of his house, and in their courtyards, and in the courtyards of the house of Elohim, and in the open space of the water gate, and in the open space of the gate of Ephraim. And the entire assembly of those who had come back from the captivity made booths and sat under the booths. For since the days of Yeshua, son of Nun, until that day, the children of Israel had not done so. And there was very great rejoicing. And day by day, from the first day until the last day, he read from the book of the Torah of Elohim. And they performed the festival 7 days. And on the 8th day there was an assembly according to the right ruling. Nehemiah Chapter 9. And on the 24th day of this month, the children of Israel were assembled with fasting, and in sackcloth, and with earth on them. And the descendants of Israel separated themselves from all foreigners, and stood and confessed their sins and the crookednesses of their fathers. And they stood up in their place, and read from the book of the Torah of Yahuwah, their Elohim, a fourth part of the day. And a fourth part they were confessing and worshiping Yahuwah, their Elohim. Then Yeshua and Benai, Quamiel, Shebaniah, Benai, Sherebiah, Benai, Kenani, stood on the stairs of the Levites and cried out with a loud voice to Yahuwah their Elohim. Then the Levites, Yeshua and Quamiel, Benai, Hashabaniah, Sherebiah, Hadiah, Shebaniah, Pathiah, said, Rise, bless Yahuwah your Elohim forever and ever, and let them bless your esteemed name, which is exalted above all blessing and praise. You are Yahuwah, you alone. You have made the heavens of the heavens, with all their hosts, the earth, and all that are on it, the seas, and all that are in them, and you give life to them all. And the hosts of the heavens are bowing themselves to you. You are Yahuwah, the Elohim, who chose Abram and brought him out of Ur of the Chaldees and gave him the name of Abraham, and found his heart trustworthy before you, and made a covenant with you to give the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Jebusites, and the Girgashites, to give it to his seed. And you have established your words, for you are righteous, and saw the affliction of our fathers in Mizraim, and heard their cry by the sea of reeds, and gave signs and wonders against Pharaoh and against all his servants and against all the people of his land. For you knew that they acted proudly against them, and you made a name for yourself, as it is this day. And you split the sea before them, and they passed over into the midst of the sea on the dry land. And their pursuers you threw into the deep, as a stone into the mighty waters. And you led them by day with a clouded column, and by night with a column of fire, to give them light in the way they were to go. And you came down on Mount Sinai, and spoke with them from the heavens, and gave them straight right rulings and Torah of truth, good laws and commands. And you made known to them your set-apart Sabbath, and you commanded them commands and laws and Torah by the hand of Moshe your servant. And you gave them bread from the heavens for their hunger, and brought them water out of the rock for their thirst, and said to them to go in to possess the land which you had sworn to give them. But they and our fathers acted proudly, and hardened their necks, and did not obey your commands. And they refused to obey, and they remembered not your wonders that you did among them, and hardened their necks. And in their rebellion they appointed a leader to return to their bondage. But you are a forgiving Eloah, showing favor and compassionate, patient, and of great kindness, and did not forsake them. Even when they made a molded calf for themselves, and said, This is your mighty one that brought you up out of Mizraim, and worked great blasphemies. Yet you, in your great compassion, did not forsake them in the wilderness, The column of the cloud did not turn away from them by day to lead them on the way, nor the column of fire by night to give them light in the way they were to go. You also gave your good spirit to instruct them, and did not withhold your manna from their mouth, and gave them water for their thirst. And for 40 years you sustained them in the wilderness. They lacked not. Their garments did not wear out, and their feet did not swell. And you gave them reins and peoples, and apportioned them their lot. So they took possession of the land of Sihon, and the land of the sovereign of Heshbon, and the land of Og, sovereign of Bashan. And you increased their children as the stars of the heavens, and brought them into the land which you had said to their fathers to go in and possess. So the sons went in and possessed the land. And you humbled before them the people of the land, the Canaanites, and gave them into their hands with their sovereigns and the people of the land to do with them as they desired. And they captured walled cities and a rich land, and possessed houses filled with all good cisterns, already dug, vineyards and olive trees and fruit trees in plenty. So they ate and were satisfied, and grew fat, and delighted themselves in your great goodness. But they became disobedient, and rebelled against you, and cast your Torah behind their backs. And they slew your prophets who had warned them to bring them back to yourself. And they worked great blasphemies. Therefore you gave them into the hand of their enemies, who distressed them. And in the time of their distress, when they cried to you, you heard from the heavens, and according to your great compassion, you gave them saviors who saved them from the hand of their enemies. But after they had rest, they turned back to do evil before you. Then you left them in the hand of their enemies, so that they ruled over them. But when they turned back and cried out to you, you heard from the heavens and delivered them according to your compassion many times, and warned them to bring them back to your Torah. But they acted proud and did not obey your commands, and sinned against your right rulings, which if a man does, he shall live by them. And they gave the rebellious shoulder, and hardened their necks, and would not hear. And you had patience with them for many years, and did warn them by your spirit, by the hand of your prophets, yet they would not give ear. Therefore you gave them into the hand of the peoples of the lands. But in your great compassion you did not make an end of them, nor forsake them, for you are an El of favor and compassion. And now our Elohim, the great, the mighty, and awesome El, guarding the covenant and the kindness, let not all the trouble that has come upon us, our sovereigns and our heads, our priests and our prophets, our fathers, and on all your people from the days of the sovereigns of Asher until this day, seem little before you. And in all that has come upon us, you are righteous. For you have done truth, but we have done wrong. And our sovereigns, our rulers, our priests, and our fathers have not done your Torah, nor heeded your commands and your witnesses, with which you witnessed against them. For they have not served you in their reign, or in your great goodness that you gave them, or in the large and rich land which you set before them, neither turned back from their evil deeds. See, we are servants today. And the land that you gave to our fathers to eat its fruit and the good of it, see, we are servants in it. And its rich yield goes to the sovereigns you have set over us because of our sins. And they rule over our bodies and our livestock at their pleasure, and we are in great distress. And because of all this, we are making a trustworthy pledge and write it. And our rulers, our Levites, our priests set their seal on it. Nehemiah Chapter 10. And those who set their seal were Nehemiah the governor's son of Hakaliah, and Tisakiah, Sariah Uzziah, Jeremiah, Pashur, Amariah, Malchiah, Hattush, Shebaniah, Maluk, Harim, Meremoth, Obadiah, Daniel, Jonathan, Baruch, Meshullam, Abiah, Maiamim, Maaziah, Belkiah, and Shemaiah. These were the priests and the Levites, both Yeshua son of Adsaniah, Benua of the sons of Henadab, Quamiel, and their brothers Shebaniah, Hodiah, Kelida, Peliah, Hanan, Micah, Rehab, Hashabiah, Sakah, Sherebiah, Shebaniah, Hodiah, Benah, and Benanu, the leaders of the people, Parush, Pathamoab, Elam, Zatu, Benah, Azgab, Bebiah, Adonijah, Beiah, Adin, Etar, Hezekiah, Azur, Hodiah, Hashum, Basiah, Hareph, Anathoth, Nebiah, Machiash, Meshullam, Hizah, Meshuzabel, Zadok, Yadur, Pelagiah, Hannah, Anaiah, Hoshea, Hananiah, Hashub, Haloshish, Pilha, Shobed, Rehum, Hashabnah, Mahashah, Hayah, Hannah, Enan, Maluk, Harim, Baanah, and the rest of the people, the priests of Levites, the gatekeepers, the singers, the Nethinim, and all those who had separated themselves from the peoples of the land unto the Torah of Elohim, their wives, their sons, and their daughters, all who had knowledge and understanding, were joining with their brothers, their nobles, and were entering into a curse and into an oath to walk in the Torah of Elohim, which was given by Moshe, the servant of Elohim, and to guard and do all the commands of Yahuwah our master, and his right rulings and his laws, and that we would not give our daughters as wives to the peoples of the land, nor take their daughters for our sons, and that if the peoples of the land bring wares or any grain to sell on the Sabbath day, we would not buy it from them on the Sabbath or on a set apart day, and we would forego the 7th year and the interest of every hand. And we impose commands on ourselves to give from ourselves yearly 1/3 of a shekel for the service of the house of our Elohim, for the showbread, and for the continual grain offering, and for the continual burnt offering of the Sabbaths, of the new moons, for the appointed times, and for the set-apart offerings, and for the sin offerings, to make atonement for Israel, and all the work of the house of our Elohim. And we cast lots among the priests and the Levites and the people for bringing the wood offering into the house of our Elohim according to our fathers' houses, at the appointed times year by year, to burn on the altar of Yahuwah our Elohim, as it is written in the Torah, and to bring the first fruits of our soil and the first fruits of all fruit of our trees year by year to the house of Yahuwah. Also to bring the firstborn of our sons and our livestock, as it is written in the Torah, and the firstlings of our herds and our flocks to the house of our Elohim, to the priests attendant to the house of our Elohim. And that we should bring the first fruits of our dough and our contributions, and the fruit from all kinds of trees of new wine and of oil, to the priests, to the storerooms of the house of our Elohim, and the tithes of our land to the Levites, for the Levites should receive the tithes in all our rural towns. And the priest, son of Aaron, shall be with the Levites when the Levites receive tithes, and the Levites bring up 1/10 of the tithes to the house of our Elohim, to the rooms of the storehouse. For the children of Israel and the children of Levi bring the offering of the grain of the new wine and the oil to the storehouses, where the vessels of the set-apart place are, where the priests who attend and the gatekeepers and the singers are. And we should not neglect the house of our Elohim. Nehemiah Chapter 11. Now the rulers of the people dwelt at Jerusalem, and the rest of the people cast lots to bring 1 out of 10 to dwell in Jerusalem, the set apart city, and 9/10 were to dwell in their cities. And the people blessed all the men who volunteered to dwell at Jerusalem. And these are the heads of the province who dwelt in Jerusalem. But in the cities of Yehudah everyone dwelt in his own possession in their cities. Israel, the priests and the Levites, and the Nethanim, and the sons of Shalomon's servants. And in Jerusalem dwelt certain of the children of Yehudah and of the children of Benjamin. Of the children of Yehudah, Athaliah, son of Uzziah, son of Zechariah, son of Amariah, son of Shephatiah, son of Mahatleel. Of the children of Peretz, and Maaseiah, son of Baruch, son of Kol-Hoseb, son of Hazahiah, son of Adaiah, son of Yoyarib, son of Zechariah, son of Shilonah. All the sons of Peretz who dwelt at Jerusalem were 468 brave men. And these are the sons of Benjamin: Salom, son of Meshullam, son of Yawed, son of Padaiah, son of Kolaiah, son of Maaseiah, son of Ithiel, son of Yeshaiah, and after him Gebiah, Saliah, 928, and Joel, son of Zachariah, was there. Overseer. And Yehudah, son of Senua, was second over the city. Of the priests, Yadaiah, son of Yoyarib, Yakin, Shariah, son of Hilkiah, son of Meshullam, son of Zadok, son of Meraioth, son of Ahitub, was the leader of the house of Elohim. And their brothers who did the work of the house were 822. And Adaiah, son of Yoraham, son of Peliah, son of Amsai, son of Zechariah, son of Pashur, son of Malchiah, and his brothers, heads of the fathers' houses, were 242. And Amashiah, son of Azariel, son of Haziah, son of Meshulamoth, son of Immer, and their brothers, mighty brave ones, were 128, and their overseer was Zadiel, son of the great ones. Also of the Levites, Shemaiah, son of Hashab, son of Azrikam, son of Hashiah, son of Bunah, and Shabidah, and Jozabad, of the heads of the Levites, over the outside work of the house of Elohim, and Mattaniah, son of Micah, son of Zaddah, son of Asaph, who was the leader who began the thanksgiving with prayer, and Bagbogiah, the second among his brothers, and Abda, son of Shammua, son of Galal, son of Yadutham. All the Levites in the set-apart city were 284, and the gatekeepers, Akoab, Talmon, and their brothers keeping guard at the gates were 172. And the rest of Israel of the priests Levites were in all the cities of Yehudah, each one in his inheritance. But the Nethanim dwelt in Ophel, and Tishahai and Gizpah were over the Nethanim. And the overseer of the Levites at Jerusalem was Ezra, son of Benah, son of Hashabiah, son of Mattaniah, son of Micah. Of the sons of Asaph, the singers were over the work of the house of Elohim, for the sovereign's command was upon them, and support for the singers, a matter day by day. And Pathaiah, son of Meshazabiel, of the children of Zerab, son of Yehudah, was the sovereign's deputy in all matters concerning the people. And at the villages with their fields, some of the children of Yehudah dwelt in Kirjath Arba and its villages, and in Daban and its villages, and in Yakazeel and its villages, and in Yeshua, and in Moladah, and in Beth Pelet, and in Hatzah, Shual, and in Beersheba and its villages, and in Ziklag, and in Mechanah and its villages, and in Ramon, and in Tesora, and in Yarmoth, Zanoah, Adullam, and their villages, in Lachish and its fields, in Azekah and its villages. So they dwelled from Beersheba to the valley of Hinnom, and the children of Benjamin from Geba, Michmash, and Ayah, and Beth El and their villages. Anathoth, Nob, Anayah, Hatzor, Ramah, Gideam, Hadid, Tisobeam, Nabalit, Lod, and Ono, in the valley of craftsmen. And of the Levites, the divisions of Yehudah were for Benjamin. Nehemiah Chapter 12. And these were the priests and the Levites who came up with Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and Yeshua, Sariah, Jeremiah, Ezra, Amariah, Maluk, Hattush, Shechaniah, Rehum, Meremoth, Edu, Genethiah, Abiah, Mayamim, Maadiah, Bilkah, Shemaiah, and Yoyarib, Yodiah, Salu, Amag, Hilkiah, and Yodiah. These were the heads of the priests and their brothers in the days of Yeshua. And the Levites, Yeshua, Benua, Quamiel, Sherebiah, Yehudah, Mattaniah, over the thanksgiving, he and his brothers, and Bagbiah and Unai, their brothers, were opposite them for guard duties. And Yeshua brought forth Joachim, and Joachim brought forth Eliashib, and Eliashib brought forth Joiada, and Joiada brought forth Jonathan, and Jonathan brought forth Yadua. And in the days of Joachim, the priests, the heads of the fathers' houses were of Sariah, Miriah, of Jeremiah, Hananiah, of Ezra, Mesulam, of Amariah, Yehohanan, of Melaku, Jonathan, of Shebanu, Joseph, of Harim, Abna, of Mariah, Helqua, of Idu, Zechariah, of Jonathan, Meshulam, of Abiah, Zechariah, son of Menyamim, of Moadiah, Peltiah, of Bilgah, Shammua, of Shemaiah, Yehonathan, of Yoyarib, Mattaniah, of Yadiah, Josiah, of Saliah, Koliah, of Emma, Eber, of Hilkiah, Hashabiah, and of Yediah, Nathaniel. The Levites and priests in the days of Eliashib, Joiada, Johanna, and Yadiel were recorded heads of their fathers' houses. Also the priests in the reign of Darius the Persian. The sons of Levi, the heads of the fathers' houses until the days of Johanna, son of Eliashib, were written in the book of the annals. And the heads of the Levites were Hashabiah, Sherebiah, and Yeshua, son of Quidmiel, with their brothers opposite them to praise, to give thanks, watch according to the command of David, the man of Elohim. Mattaniah and Bagbiah, Obadiah, Meshulam, Talmon, Aquib were gatekeepers guarding at the store rooms of the gates. These were in the days of Joachim, son of Yeshua, son of Yosadak, and in the days of Nehemiah the governor, and of Ezra the priest, the scribe. And at the dedication of the wall of Jerusalem, they sought out the Levites in all their places to bring them to Jerusalem to perform the dedication with gladness and with thanksgivings and with singing, cymbals, harps, and lyres. And the sons of the singers gathered together from the countryside around Jerusalem, from the villages of the Netophatites, and from the house of Gilgal, and from the fields of Geba and Asmaweth. For the singers had built themselves villages all around Jerusalem. And the priests and Levites cleansed themselves, and they cleansed the people and the gates and the wall. And I brought the rules of Yehudah up on the wall, and appointed 2 large thanksgiving choirs to go to the right on the wall toward the dung gate. And after them went Hoshea, and half of the rulers of Yehuda. Then Azariah, Ezra, and Meshullam, Yehuda and Benjamin, and Shemaiah and Jeremiah. And of the sons of the priests with trumpets, Zechariah, son of Jonathan, son of Shemaiah, son of Mattaniah, son of Milkiah, son of Zachar, son of Asaph, and his brother Shemaiah, and Azariel, Melaliah, Gilaliah, Maiah, Nathaniel, and Yehuda, Hananiah with instruments of songs of David, the man of Elohim, with Ezra the scribe before them. And at the fountain gate and straight ahead of them they went up the stairs of the city of David, on the stairway of the wall beyond the house of David, as far as the water gate eastward. And the other thanksgiving choir went over against them, and I behind them, with half of the people on the wall, going past the tower of the ovens as far as the broad wall, and above the gate of Ephraim, and above the old gate, and above the fish gate, and the tower of Haniel, and the tower of the 100, as far as the sheep gate, and they stood still at the gate of the prison. Then the two thanksgiving choirs took their stand in the house of Elohim, and I and half of the deputy rulers with me, and the priests Eliakim, Asha, Benjamin, Micaiah, Elionaiah, Zechariah, and Hananiah with trumpets, and Maaseiah, and Shemaiah, and Eliezer, and Uzziah, and Jehohanan, and Malchiah, and Elam, and Ezer, and the singers sang aloud with Yezraiah in charge. And on that day they brought great offerings and rejoiced, for Elohim had made them rejoice with great joy. And the women and the children also rejoiced, so that the joy of Jerusalem was heard far away. And on that day some were appointed over the rooms for the stores, for the contributions, for the first fruits, and for tithes together, and to them from the fields of the cities the portions required by the Torah for the priests and for the Levites. For Yehuda rejoiced over the priests and the Levites who stood up. Both the singers and the gatekeepers guarded the charge of their Elohim, and the charge of the cleansing, according to the command of David and Shalomo his son. For in the days of David and Asaph of old there were chiefs of the singers, and songs of praise and thanksgiving to Elohim. And in the days of Zerubbabel and in the days of Nehemiah all Israel gave the portions for the singers and the gatekeepers, a portion for each day. And they set apart what was for the Levites, and the Levites set apart what was for the children of Aaron. Nehemiah Chapter 13. On that day was read from the book of Moshe in the hearing of the people, and in it was found written that an Ammonite and Moabite should not come into the assembly of Elohim forever, because they had not met the children of Israel with bread and water, and hired Balaam against them to curse them, although our Elohim turned the curse into a blessing. And it came to be, when they had heard the Torah, that they separated all the mixed multitude from Israel. And before this, Eliashib the priest, having authority over the storerooms of the house of our Elohim, was a relative of Tobiah. And he had prepared for him a large room, where previously they had stored the grain offerings, the frankincense, and the utensils, and the tithes of grain, the new wine, and the oil, which were commanded to be given to the Levites, and the singers and the gatekeepers, and the contributions for the priests. But in all this I was not in Jerusalem, for in the 32nd year of Artashasta, sovereign of Babel, I came to the sovereign. And after some days I asked leave from the sovereign to return. And I came to Jerusalem and learned of the evil which Eliashib had done for Tobiah in preparing a room for him in the courts of the house of Elohim. And it was very displeasing to me. Therefore I threw all the household goods of Tobiah out of the room, and I commanded them to cleanse the rooms. And I put back into them the utensils of the house of Elohim with the grain offering and the frankincense. And I learned that the portions for the Levites had not been given them, for each of the Levites and the singers who did the work had gone back to his field. Then I contended with the deputy rulers and said, Why is the house of Elohim forsaken? And I gathered them together and set them in their place. And all Yehudah brought the tithe of the grain and the new wine and the oil to the storehouse. And I appointed as treasurers over the storehouse Shelah, the priest, and Zadok the scribe, and Pedaiah of the Levites. And next to them was Hannah, son of Zakur, son of Mattaniah, for they were reckoned trustworthy, and it was on them to distribute to their brothers. Remember me, O my Elohim, concerning this, and do not wipe out my kind deeds that I have done for the house of my Elohim and for its charges. In those days I saw in Yehudah those treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves, and loading donkeys with wine, grapes, and figs, and all kinds of burdens which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. So I warned them on the day they sold food. And men of Tizor dwelt there, bringing in fish and all kinds of goods, and sold them on the Sabbath to the children of Yehudah and in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Yehudah and said to them, What evil matter is this that you are doing, profaning the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers do the same, so that our Elohim brought all this evil on us and on this city? Yet you bring added wrath on Israel by profaning the Sabbath. And it came to be at the gates of Jerusalem, as it began to be dark before the Sabbath, that I commanded the gates to be shut, and commanded that they should not be opened till after the Sabbath. And I stationed some of my servants at the gates, so that no burdens would be brought in on the Sabbath day. And the merchants and sellers of all kinds of wares spent the night outside Jerusalem once or twice. And I warned them and said to them, Why do you spend the night around the wall? If you do so again, I lay hands on you. From that time on they came no more on the Sabbath. And I commanded the Levites that they should cleanse themselves, and they should come guarding the gates to set apart the Sabbath day. Remember me, O my Elohim, concerning this also, and pardon me according to the greatness of your kindness. In those days I also saw Yehudim, who had married women of Ashdod, Ammon, Moab. And half of their children spoke the language of Ashdod, and could not speak the language of Yehudah, but spoke according to the language of one or the other people. Then I continued with them, and cursed them, and smote some of them, and pulled out their hair, and made them swear by Elohim, saying, You do not give your daughters as wives to their sons, nor take their daughters for your sons or yourselves. Did not Solomon, sovereign of Israel, sin because of them? Among the many nations there was no sovereign like him, who was beloved of his Elohim. And Elohim made him sovereign over all Israel. Even him foreign women caused to sin. Should we then hear of your doing all this great evil, trespassing against our Elohim by marrying foreign wives? And one of the sons of Yoyada, son of Eliashib, the high priest, was a son-in-law of Sanballat the Horonite, and I drove him from me. Remember them, O my Elohim, because they have defiled the priesthood and the covenant of the priesthood and of the Levites. Thus I cleansed them from all that is foreign, and I appointed duties to the priests and the Levites, each in his task, and for the wood offering and the first fruits at appointed times. Remember me, O my Elohim, for good.